President Trump has announced that Boeing will build the next generation of fighter jets for the US Air Force. The new sixth generation fighter aircraft will be called the F-47, named after Donald Trump, the 47th President of the United States. Now, here's some concept art showing what the new jet might look like. The real things expected to carry advanced stealth, AI and drone technology. Boeing defeated a rival bid from Lockheed Martin, which produces the F-35 fighter. Now, the announcement's welcome news for Boeing, whose reputation's taken a hit after a series of crashes and mechanical failures. President Trump said his namesake's next-generation jet would have unprecedented power in the skies.
The F-47 will be the most advanced, most capable, most lethal aircraft ever built. An experimental version of the plane has secretly been flying for almost 5 years, and we're confident that it massively overpowers the capabilities of any other nation. There's no other nation. We know every other plane. I've seen every one of them, and it's not even close. This is a next level.
Well, Lieutenant General Dave Deptula is Dean of the Mitchell Institute for Aerospace Power Studies and a senior scholar at the US Air Force Academy's Institute for Future Conflict. Welcome to DW. How next level is the F-47?
Well, first, thanks very much for having me on. It is quite a leap ahead in the context of capability, both in terms of low observability, or what people call stealth, as well as with range for this kind of a size of an aircraft, as well as by capitalizing on the kinds of technologies that give us edges in terms of sensing information and then processing that information. What I like to tell people is that the F-47 will not just be a fighter. It will be able to do much more than just shoot missiles and drop bombs, but can actually conduct multiple missions by penetrating highly defended airspace, collecting information, processing it, and then sending back that information to allied and coalition military commanders in order for them to make decisions faster than the enemy can react. So it adds a type of decision superiority that other aircraft simply can't.
And as I understand it, it features an AI co-pilot and will be assisted by a swarm of AI-powered drones. So AI very much at the heart of this technology.
Well, that is certainly part of it. Much of the drones that you're speaking of here in the United States Air Force are referred to as collaborative combat aircraft. And those are still under design right now. And you're correct, they will rely to a great degree on artificial intelligence and machine learning. And those concepts are being developed. The notion is this whole concept of next generation air dominance isn't just the F-47, but it's also working with the other autonomous aircraft, these collaborative combat aircraft, so that we can achieve a degree of man-machine teaming that otherwise we wouldn't have.
President Trump said he'd be selling a toned-down version of the F-47 to America's allies, which is hardly going to inspire confidence in potential buyers.
Well, what I would tell you is I don't know. I mean, he obviously has plans. Even a, quote, toned-down version may be significantly more capable than any of the other aircraft, combat aircraft, that are currently out there. But look, that's speculation. I think that's yet to be determined, and we'll see how this evolves. One doesn't anticipate that this aircraft will become operational in the immediate future. So a lot of this depends upon when the F-47 actually does
Right.
become operational.
Now, Boeing beat Lockheed Martin to this contract. Boeing, which of course has had these problems over the last few years with bits and pieces dropping off its planes in the sky, and there was also talk of compromises in its quality assurance processes. So this sounds like a big boost in confidence in them as a manufacturer.
Interesting point that much of the discussion here follows along those same lines. I would just caution your audience that, Boeing is an enormous company, and there are different segments of the company. And the commercial aircraft division is different than the Phantom Works or the defense section of the company. And so, we'll see. Those are different organizations. Right. And it really, one has to be careful not to associate perhaps what went on in one segment of the company with the defense sector.
And Boeing beat Lockheed Martin to this contract. Lockheed builds the current F-35 fighter jet, which Elon Musk has described as an expensive and complex jack of all trades and master of none. How close to the truth is his assessment?
His statement it reflects a degree of lack of understanding as well as hope, not reality, with respect to uninhabited aerial vehicles. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't aspire to the promise of uninhabited aerial vehicles, but with respect to the F-35, let me remind you and your audience that U.S.-produced F-35s launched by the Israelis just a couple of months ago flew over 1,000 miles, penetrated into the heart of Iran, and just didn't avoid the most capable Russian surface-to-air missile systems, but destroyed them along with other critical targets and returned back without any losses. There's no drone or uninhabited aircraft that can do that today. And so the proof is in the pudding.
Right.
And so Mr. Musk needs to consider all of the elements, not just what he wished might be the case.
So as President Trump announced the F-47, we also have Canada and Portugal announcing that they're reviewing deals to buy the F-35 because of the Trump administration's stance towards its international partners. How big a blow would cancellation of those contracts be?
Well, right now, the United States has upwards, I believe we're at 20 different national partners flying the F-35. So, that is yet to be determined, and I wouldn't make the leap yet that, look, let me put it this way, every nation has the right to take stock of what it might invest in. But when you look at the nations that have already invested in the F-35, it's certainly an extraordinarily desirable aircraft that partners and allies want to be able to attain. And there's also another strength in partners and allies operating the same kind of equipment, and that's that it brings our nations closer together. So, I'll leave the politics to the politicians, but it is an extraordinarily capable aircraft, and there are huge advantages from a strategic perspective in more and more partners and friends acquiring them.
OK, good talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Lieutenant General Dave Deptula from the Mitchell Institute for Aerospace Power Studies. Thank you.
Thank you.